I'm ready. Yeah.
He's ready, everybody. That's because Gary is back for Sports Talk with Gary. Kyle, you're welcome. We made it happen, right? Our schedules have just been so crazy. Gary, we're going to want to know. First of all, the audience wants to know where you've been. I have received multiple calls, not busting your chops, but genuinely asking if you're okay. And the age-old question of where's Gary? So, Gary's
Well,
here, everybody.
Nick, like the Undertaker, Nick. I'm back.
Right.
I'm back.
He's here. He just sat
Okay.
straight up in his chair. He's ready to
I'm
go.
back and I'm ready to go.
All right. So what was it, Gar? Was it all work? Was it the boys' sports? Was it a combination of
A li-
everything?
you know, a little bit of both, Nick. A little bit of both, but mostly work. But as To once said, you got to, you got to feed the family. To once said, you got to feed the family. So,
You do.
a lot
But
of work, really busy. But yeah, but it's been really busy. But I'm just glad to see you. Glad to be back.
man, it's good to be
Before I
seen
go
at
on
my
vacation.
age.
Before I go on vacation.
Yeah, I'm leaving here in like 7 or 8 hours, and we're driving to Florida. So
Okay.
there's 4 drivers in the car because since
Yep.
we talked last, I think Cullen went and got his driver's license, so he can take over a little bit. Just hit some highway driving.
Okay.
It's
Yep.
supervised. One of us will stay awake with them, and we're gonna make long work of it. We're gonna make a lot of stops, eat on our way down, get out, walk around, do what we got to do. We have to stop at Bucky's. Apparently, is a place that we need to
Okay.
go to. Um, so, listen, we haven't talked since
No.
since you were so monumentally wrong about AJ Brown because he did get traded. He got traded to
It's
the
funny, Nick. You're being funny. I'm glad you still got your sense of humor.
right. So,
Yeah, Nick, let's get right to it. Let's give the people what they want, right?
yep.
Let's give the people what they want. So, as I said for a long time, and you disagreed, but that's okay. AJ Brown did get traded. Um, you just saw it coming. The big thing here, Nick, from the Eagles' perspective, for me, I mean, obviously, you lose a great talent. He's a great talent. He's a great player. You can't deny the fact that when AJ Brown's in Philadelphia, they went to the playoffs every year. But more important than that, they went to 2 Super Bowls. He's a great talent, and we could talk about last year and the effort. But at the very least, the Eagles were adamant. They were absolutely adamant, Nick. They had to get a first round pick. They got the first round pick. They wanted the first round pick in 27 because that's supposed to be a really strong class, specifically at quarterback. We'll see how that all plays out because again, our current quarterback is a Super Bowl MVP. But they did get a first round pick in 28. And let's not miss, we have a Hall of Fame caliber GM. I mean, Howie Roseman is going to go into the Hall of Fame, and Howie Roseman's done a lot of great things, and he's going to go into the Hall of Fame. And he's been to 2 Super Bowl. They've been to 3 Super Bowls under Howie Roseman's guidance. 4, if you want to count when he was kind of an intern there back in '04 with Andy Reid.
Right.
But Howie Roseman's he's the best at one, the best in the business, and that first round pick in 28, Nick, I mean, what that does for Howie Roseman and the Eagles in the front office, it gives them flexibility. I mean, yes, they could use that in 28 on a pick in the first round. They certainly might do that. Um, but I wouldn't be shocked if next year Howie Roseman's like, you know what? Depending on how this year plays out, there's a player we really, really like in that 27 draft, and we're going to use that first round pick we just got for AJ Brown as a trade chip, and that's a huge trade chip. Um, let's not remember when they traded Carson Wentz, they got a first round pick for Carson Wentz, and that eventually held them land. Like it was a trickle down effect of Jalen Carter and Cooper DeJean, and so the fact that they got that first round pick is huge. Obviously, you lose the talent of an AJ Brown, but you need other players to step up, and I'm really excited to see what Devontae Smith does as your number one receiver.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, AJ Brown's a great player. They won a Super Bowl. I would say the trade absolutely paid off. In my opinion, you went to 2 Super Bowls, but something went wrong for whatever reason. He didn't want to be here. He's in New England. You get the first round pick, and let's see what Devontae Smith and the other receivers can do in this new offense.
Yeah, I mean, first, you're absolutely right. Like the Eagles are a better team when AJ Brown is in Eagles green, right? But
Yes.
for a player like that, right? What does he do? He comes into this town. We give up a first round pick for him. He's got a lot to prove, and he proves it like all at once. He goes to the
Yeah,
Super Bowl, they don't win. He goes to another one, they win. He gets the
yeah.
big money contract, right? He's now on his second big money contract. Uh,
Yeah, well, the Eagles Nick, the Eagles actually gave him 2 contracts, 2
yeah,
big money
right.
contracts, because they gave him one on the night that they made the trade for him. They immediately, gave him that contract, which is what you do, right?
Yeah,
Otherwise, you're not making that trade in the first place.
correct.
So, you give him the contract there, and then it was uh last offseason, or maybe 2 off seasons ago, when there was rumblings of him potentially going to New England, they gave him another big money
Yeah.
contract. So I thought that was going to kind of squash the bug right there.
Well,
So yeah, so there's
it,
there's no doubt that Jeffrey Lurie, he's doled out some money to
yeah,
AJ Brown.
there's different bugs with guys like AJ Brown. And by guys like AJ Brown, I mean incredibly talented, but also selfish divas. And one is he's competitive and he wants to win. He's done that. He wants to make a lot of money while he can so he can live out the rest of his days without having to overextend his stay in the NFL. He's done that. Now the only thing he has to do is get into the Hall of Fame. And
Right,
that's why he wants out of Philadelphia. He does not want to be on a team that spreads the ball around. He wants to be the number one. He wants to be the target all the time for big plays, big yards. And when you can get with a younger quarterback that will listen to an experienced veteran player, that guy, like AJ Brown is the type of guy that's like, put the ball up there, I'll go get it. And he's not wrong.
sure,
Jalen
sure,
Hurts is not going to play the game like that. He's not going to just put the ball
right,
up in danger because AJ Brown says so. Drake
yeah,
May is much more likely to do that and listen to an experienced player and put the ball up there and trust him to bring it down. So it's really a much better fit for everybody because now you're not paying AJ Brown, you're paying Makai Lemon on a rookie contract. You're not
right.
you're not and you're getting that out of the locker room. Now, speaking of the locker room, can we have to talk a little bit about the other part of the AJ Brown story, right? Like,
Yeah, I don't think there's nothing to that, but go ahead.
first of all, the NFL brass, all the owners, all the GMs, all the teams are sending NFL players to massage parlors for extra stuff, right?
Hmm.
This is what happened to Deshaun Watson. Like, if the Eagles wanted to be horrible, like the Texans were, they would go and get some woman to accuse AJ Brown of something horrible just to get him out of here. They didn't. They wanted a first round pick. They knew they could get everything, and they knew he wanted out too. But like the extra stuff out of here is incredible. Like something between him and Hassan Reddick with the same massage lady. Stuff between Jalen Hurts' wife and AJ Brown's wife, who at the time were just girlfriends, but stuff between them not being good. That sucks.
Well, well, here's what I'll say, Nick. Like, we don't, we don't know what's what, and I don't, but I'll say this clearly that all who knows what happened there, if it even happened at all. But here's what we do know. Clearly, there was something going on with the quarterback and the wide receiver, because when he first got traded to the Eagles, they were best friends, and uh, Jalen Hurts, I believe, is even the godfather of one of AJ Brown's kids. So if that's the case, like, you guys are tight. And then, like you said, like, they're not, you know, a passing offense, or there was something there in the offense that just he didn't like.
Mhm.
And I agree with you, Nick. I agree with you. I think this is a good trade for both teams involved, and, was there some off the field stuff? I don't know how much of a degree. I know, even going back to McNabb, there were rumblings of, T.O. was mad at McNabb because T.O. wanted a new contract and McNabb really didn't want to get involved. But yet when Brian Westbrook wanted some money, McNabb kind of stood up for him, and he got that contract supposedly. So who knows? But at the end of the day, I think, obviously the Eagles traded him. The Eagles didn't want to trade him, but I also think that the Eagles, they didn't want to go through another year and potentially what that could look like.
It would have, I'll tell you, there's
We're
no potential. It would have looked a mess, right? Of
it
the
would have. I
interviews,
really think it would have.
yeah,
Yes.
the interviews he's done since leaving. have been about his jealousy because people cheer for Cooper DeJean and they don't cheer for him. You're the type of person that makes up the cheer you want people to do for you. You are a crazy person. You're crazy.
Well, I
So he
think,
is,
but Nick, at the end of the day, and I think you hit it. I think you hit it. Is that the bottom line was receivers make their money from the quarterback. And he wants targets, he wants his yards, he wants his and I don't blame him because, that's how you're gonna get, like, your next contract. Like, I'm sure, like, Devontae Smith wants the same thing, but he goes about it a different way,
you
you know
know,
what I mean? And I'm gonna get into Devontae in a minute.
yeah,
But,
good.
but, I mean, look, I think it's a good trade, all things considered for both teams. Now, again, like, I you know, could AJ Brown, maybe he was hampered by the knee a little bit. Is he a little slower? We're gonna find out. I mean, I expect him to go to New England and do very, very well. I think Drake May's a good quarterback. I think McDaniels is a good offensive coordinator. By the way, when the Eagles hired Nick Sirianni, your final two candidates were Josh McDaniels and Nick Sirianni. Now they chose Nick Sirianni. But I do think AJ Brown's gonna go to New England and have a really good year. But I also think this Eagles offense, I still think, Nick, this Eagles offense, and I love what I'm hearing at least coming out of camp. They want to run the ball and they want to put Hurts under center. They want to run play action off of that, which is what I've been kind of hammering the table for going back to last year. So I'm excited to hear that, and we'll see how that works. Um, yeah, like we're gonna miss AJ Brown, but the bottom line is we did get a first round pick for him, and as they say, the show must go on.
Yeah, I mean, my whole sticking point was if you get out of this AJ Brown trade the same investment, like if you get a 100% return on investment after is it 6 years and a Super Bowl, two appearances, one win. So this investment has gotten you that, and then your first round pick just right back. That
Yes.
of course, Howie's
Well,
going to use that as trade bait for something. Uh,
well,
that is,
Nick, let me to your point though, Nick, to your point, let me ask you this because this is what I if you really break down what they got with AJ, so essentially they traded when they acquired him, they traded a first round pick for him. Okay. And now you're getting a first round pick back. So those are basically washes. So essentially what you did was, Nick, if I told you, we'll say 4 years ago, Nick, if I told you that all Jeffrey Lurie has to do is give AJ Brown some good money and essentially give up a a third round pick or something like that, would you do that deal? I would for a Super Bowl and for
mhm.
2 trips. I mean, there's no doubt I would do this trade 10 times over. The sad part is you wish he was still here and happy because, he was on his way, Nick. He was on his way to breaking record after record, and who knows kind of what would
Yeah,
happen there.
but you know
Um,
what? I don't care. I don't care if he stays and retires, doesn't it? I don't care. I want the team to win. I really don't care about any one player. I want the team to
right.
win. That's why when we talk about Jalen Hurts and Jalen Carter and Saquon Barkley and AJ Brown, talk about these guys. If they're not gonna win again, and the way AJ was trending here, he wasn't gonna help us win again. So he's got to go.
Yeah.
And I don't feel bad. I don't care. I'm not out burning jerseys and setting stuff off. I don't
No.
care that. I don't care that way either. I'm not thrilled that he's gone. But
Yeah.
if he had to go
And
and he did, you got your first round pick back.
yeah.
You won your Super Bowl with him. Now move on. You picked up a
Yep.
young, talented receiver. You picked up a free agent out of Green Bay. You have options, and you
Yeah.
still have Devontae Smith, who is going to murderize it this year. He's just going to destroy everybody
Yeah.
this year.
I hope so. And so the bottom line is, Browns and with Devontae Smith now, I'll talk contracts, but if you're Devontae Smith, I mean, this is a golden opportunity for you. Now, Devontae Smith is under contract, um, and we'll see how he does this year and in the new offense. But I'm going to tell you right now, Nick. I mean, you could take this to the well. I'll give you 3 names, maybe even 4 names. You could take to the bank, and we'll talk contracts. But like number one, Devontae Smith, he's already on a second contract. And I will be beyond shocked if he doesn't get a third. I think he's going to get an extension. He won't be the first one to get an extension. I'll give you that name in a second. But I fully expect Devontae Smith to get an extension. Um, he's gonna see a third. He's on a second contract right now with the Eagles, and he's gonna see a third contract barring something catastrophic.
I agree. I
And
totally
then
agree.
and this also puts, let's make no mistake about it, this puts pressure on the quarterback. And because now you don't have AJ Brown, and there was supposedly a rift there, and it's more pressure on the quarterback to, to see what he can do with the guys around him. And believe me, the Eagles, they're this is not a bad thing, but they're in no rush right now, in my opinion. They're in no rush right now to pay Jalen Hurts because, as you and I both talked about, they got to start paying some guys on defense. And in my opinion, they want to extend Devontae Smith sooner than later. So, um, because the wide receiver market, there's going to be a lot of wide receivers up for contracts next year. The Eagles like to get ahead of that, and they can only pay so much to so many players. I will say, and I know you thought there was a possibility around the draft that this guy could get moved.
Yeah.
I've read some stuff, but the bottom line, Nick, and I'll stick to it, and I've been saying this for a while. I will be beyond shocked. I mean, beyond shocked if Jalen Carter doesn't get an extension before week 1 when they play Washington. I don't know if that extension's happening today or next week, but he will get an extension before they play Washington week 1. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah. I mean, I want to disagree with you, but I think it's actually going to be important going into week 1 that that guy is settled and paid and ready. Now, I don't think it's going to be a break the bank contract like you would have thought he
Oh, I
would
do.
get 2
I
years
do.
ago.
But go ahead.
I think they're having trouble figuring out kind of where that dollar amount hits because, you know, he's had minor injuries. That really hasn't been the case, but
Yeah.
his lack of availability due to his own mistakes on the field, like the spitting on Dak Prescott, and think like just some of his
Yeah.
play that gets him in trouble. I think they're concerned about putting out big dollars for those kind of risks. The risk reward is the reward is so high because the guy's an incredibly talented player. That's not even debatable. But the
Yeah.
risk is there, and I think they got to hammer out the dollar amounts, knowing that Cooper DeJean, who I think is even more important, is coming up next. So, between
Yeah.
Carter, Cooper
So,
DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Devontae Smith, like you have a lot of guys that you have
right.
to pay in order to keep this thing rolling.
Right. Right, and I think they're gonna pay those guys. Now, with Carter, Carter's gonna be the first one to drop there. He's gonna get paid. I expect him to get paid. Obviously the off the field stuff, but for the most part, off the field, as far as we know, he's been good, minus that Prescott thing that was on national TV and not smart. But I think they're more concerned with the shoulders. Like if the shoulders are good to go, and if he's good to go physically, they're gonna pay him. But that contract is absolutely gonna get done, and then I hate to say it, but and I think he's going to have a good year for the Eagles this year. But a lot like we've seen with Milton Williams is one of your guys, a guy that you love, Nick Moro Ajomo.
Yeah.
Um, Moro Ajomo, because Jalen Carter's getting paid and Jordan Davis got paid. You can't pay everybody. So like Moro Ajomo is going to probably have a good year, which is going to be good for the Eagles, and then he's gonna leave via free agency. Like I just don't, there's certain guys that are gonna leave, and then I'm gonna give you another name in a second that's probably gonna leave. But
So like part of the I think I know where you're going with this. Part of the Moro Ojomo, part of the D tackle thing with the Eagles, where you see these guys coming through, I think is a lot of things. First, their scouting's great. Second, their coaching's really good. But then I think somewhere in there is the fact that these guys are lining up against an offensive line. So like a Moro Jomo or a Milton Williams, right? They're lining
yeah,
up against an offensive line that just had to deal with Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis.
sure.
So I think a lot of times they look really good because they are in there rotating through, and these guys are smoked because they're working so hard against our starting two D tackles. So I think I
Yeah.
I mean not to downplay Moro Jomo, I still like him, but if you have to pay two D linemen and it's those two, I'm good with that. Stop right there.
Well,
Hold pause.
well,
So now I
he
think you're headed towards Nolan Smith, right?
Yeah, so I think with Nolan Smith, and I think you and I might see it a little different here. I think you're a little bigger Nolan Smith fan than I am. The first thing with Nolan Smith I'll say is he's a first round pick, right? So you get that extra year. They've already picked up that extra year,
Yeah.
and he was absolutely dynamite in that playoff run that they won the Super Bowl. Um, but he has to stay on the field. It's a huge year for Nolan Smith, and I really do think at the end of the day that they're gonna have to choose between Jalix Hunt and Nolan Smith. One's gonna stay and one's gonna go, and we'll see it at the end of the year. We'll ask us this question again. But I think right now I probably lean towards Jalix Hunt staying. I just don't see both of those guys staying, Nick. I really don't. One's gonna stay, one's gonna go between Nolan Smith and Jalix Hunt.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Jalix Hunt you have more time with, and I think they like him more.
Yeah.
I think he's got more of more of a top end potential. Like I think Nolan Smith is already starting to rotate through injury, and he's a
Right.
moron off the field, like we expect from our Georgia Bulldogs. They're all just driving too damn fast. I don't. Do they have? It's not Germany, right? It's Georgia. Like there's a speed limit, right? They know about it.
Right.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know. Like
Yeah.
all these
You know,
guys are just driving around like crazy assholes, and I mean, not that it doesn't affect the football really, but like you don't want your guys getting in trouble and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think his value is lower than what he thinks it is, and I think it's higher than the Eagles are willing to pay still. Now,
yeah.
that being
Well,
said,
and Nick, I'll say this too, Nick, and I'm gonna say this in our next podcast, something we could do. Maybe we could list like our top 10 Eagles going into this year that are just the most important in terms of contracts and just big picture everything. And
absolutely.
I'll tell you right now, Nolan Smith for me, Nolan Smith's gonna be very high on that list because he has to have a it's a huge year for him coming
So he's
up.
on the bubble, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think he's battling Jalix Hunt for a contract, and of course now they bring in Grenard. So, bottom line is again, that playoff run, Nolan Smith was fantastic, but he is a first round pick, and it's a huge year for them because I think he's really battling Jalix Hunt for that contract extension at some point.
Which I like
They're not
because I
keeping
just
everybody.
the competition breeds greatness, right? So like you want two guys that can play competing. You don't
Yeah,
just want camp fodder all the time, right? Like
right.
I I I don't want that. I want these guys to really compete and need to go for it. Um,
Yeah,
so yeah, I think Jalix Hunt will actually have a nice year. Um, but yeah, you need the defense to go because these DNs have to show up because you've now released Brandon Graham as they should have, right? Because
right.
I think he gave you what he's going to give you. Um, but at the end, like you missed out on the big one because the Eagles weren't willing to give up the farm for one player. They
Yeah,
weren't willing to give
but
everything up for Miles Garrett.
but But I'm really excited for this defense, especially actually at pass rushing and defensive end because you're gonna have Nolan Smith and it's a big year for him. You're gonna have Jalix Hunt, and you're also gonna have Grenard. Now they traded for Grenard. They like that talent obviously because they made the trade for him. They
Right.
invested big money in him. Like he's, by all accounts, he was actually cheaper for them over Jalen Phillips, and a lot of people think he's even better than Jalen Phillips. So I'm really excited, and I've always said, Nick, it's that first year on the contract. When once you get paid, you want to really prove it to teams and show teams. So, yeah, I'm really excited for those three guys. And then, you mentioned about like Jalen Carter and double teams. I think Jalen Carter is going to get a lot of attention. He's going to open it up for other guys. I mean, when we talk about double teams, Nick, I go back to that gangrene defense in the 90s. I mean, who got double teamed more than Reggie White? And Clyde Simmons feasted off that double team, right?
Right.
And Clyde was a great defensive end for the Eagles. And then once Reggie left to go to Green Bay, Clyde was still good, but now he was the one getting double teamed. You know what I mean? So when somebody's getting double teamed, that opens it up for somebody else to feast, and that's what they got to do on defense. And Nick, I do, man. I really, really think this defense now going into its third year with Fangio, I'll call him Professor Fangio, going into their third year. I mean, this defense could be, really, really good. Now, of course, Jahad Campbell has to step up and show that he's ready in year two. He was a first round pick because you don't have N'Kobe Dean there.
Right.
And then, Reek Woolen, at least in the mini camps, nothing but good things out of Reek Woolen. So that's another guy where if he has a really good year, like a lot of people are anticipating, he's going to leave via free agency because again, you can't pay everybody, and they're going to pay Mitchell and they're going to pay DeJean. The
Right.
only way I don't see them paying DeJean is if Reek Woolen just blows it out of the water, and DeJean just has like a bad year. But they love DeJean, and like I've said, I mean, you could Jalen Carter, Quinyon Mitchell, and Cooper DeJeans, it's signed, sealed, and delivered for another contract with the Eagles. Like those deals are going to get done at some point, and the Carter deal is going to get done first, and then on the offensive side of the ball, don't be shocked if something gets done at some point with Devontae Smith.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now, as far as the free agent market, I think the Eagles really did a nice job. They trade AJ Brown, but then they bring in Hollywood Brown, which I mean, he was a fine
Yeah,
upgrade at 3. So
yeah,
the assumption now is that Mekhi Lemon's your number 2.
yeah.
So
As long as he's healthy. I mean, I know it was mini camp, but he had a hamstring injury, so I hope that's not.
and then, I mean, they brought in who's the kid? This AJ Epineza? I can't say it.
Yeah,
It-
defensive end.
Yeah,
Yep.
he was a second round draft pick for the Bills, and it just kind of
Yeah.
didn't
So
work
he was
out.
a nope.
And sometimes it's that change of scenery that you need. Now, I'm not saying he's going to light the world on fire, but when you have guys that are fighting for spots and you have a good rotation, that can really help. Like when, if Nolan Smith needs a play off, you're not
Yeah.
downgrading your defense by rotating somebody in.
Sure.
I absolutely love our running back room. I absolutely love it, and the idea that we're going to do more of a run style offense with this running back room. I love Tank Bigsby. I love
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley, obviously.
Yep.
I
Yep.
love I love those two. I think it's going to be great for this offensive line, and I'm more excited to see the offense than I am the defense. Like I almost feel like I know the defense and I know what they're going to give me, and it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I think our linebacker situation is good, but I think you needed. I think we need something else back there, unless they're going to hold. Unless Trotter Jr. is coming up as a better player than he was last year.
Yeah, well, and that could be the case with him. I mean, they really he's going to give you some snaps, and they like him, and the old saying is defense wins championships, right? And his defense should be really good. I mean, I'll say right now, his defense should be anywhere from 1 to 10, and could be anywhere from 1 to 10, and should be higher. I feel really good about the defense, provided they're healthy. Still concerned about safety, although now we're starting to hear that DeJean's going to play a lot of safety, and um, but as long the defense will be good, and it just comes down to the offense, right? So
Yeah.
like last year, they played the Lions and the defense held them, I think, to like 16 points. And it just comes down to Hurts and this offense and Mannion. And because I think the defense will keep you in the game. And the offense has to score points so they don't get worn down. And that's why AJ Brown was frustrated last year. We, as fans, we were frustrated last year because of this offense. And hopefully it'll look different. Um, and again, everything coming out of camp seems positive, but it's camp, so you can take that with a grain of salt. Because whenever you come out of training camp and mini camp, it's all sunshines and rainbows. Right now, Reek Woolen, everybody's saying Reek Woolen, this corner looks fantastic. Well, Nick, I remember when they acquired, they had Brian Westbrook, and then they acquired Lorenzo Booker from the Dolphins, who was a running back and came out of Florida State, and he was the top running back in the country coming out of high school. And I was actually on the sidelines at Lehigh in minicamp, and they were hitting that day, and I was on the sidelines, and Lorenzo Booker looked fantastic, and it just once the season started, it just never happened for him. I mean, Nate Brown's another one, a training camp darling, Hank Baskett. Like, there's so many guys we hear about that look, phenomenal in training camp, and then the lights come on and it just doesn't happen. So, but yeah, if Reek Woolen is as good as advertised, and if they could stay healthy, there's no doubt Quinyon Mitchell and DeJean and Reek Woolen, like they could have the best corners in the league
Well, and
as far as a corner room.
I think with Reek Woolen too, like you're not looking at a fresh drafted rookie in training camp.
No,
You're looking at a guy that just won the
no,
Super Bowl, like in a
yes,
in a in a with a defensively led team. Like if
yep,
you think you're
yep, and
ever
he
gonna,
has elite,
yeah, you're never gonna
yep,
convince me
no,
that
he has
Sam
elite physical
Darnold,
traits.
yeah, Sam Darnold didn't lead that team to a Super Bowl.
Right,
It's their defense, and I mean,
right,
that's really been Seattle's MO for a long time, right? They've just been a
right.
defensively led team. So, no, I think he's an established player. And I think he working opposite Quinyon Mitchell with Cooper DeJean and whoever else in the middle, Makuba, I guess, running a safety position. And with that defensive line, he has no choice but to look good because if
Yeah.
the defensive
Yeah.
line is
Well,
getting pressure, it makes his life easier. And if Quinyon
yeah.
Mitchell's on the number one, he doesn't have to be. Like
Yeah.
he's in a good spot, and Cooper DeJean being back there just helps everybody. So I'm
Yeah.
like I said, I think I know what I'm getting out of this defense. Like you said, like I think they're a top 10 defense. I don't really see big glaring problems right now. Of course, like you
No.
said, you got to play some football first to see what's happening. But I think these guys are all ready. I think now the media spin is that Jalen Carter's not happy because he doesn't have his extension yet or his new contract yet. Blah blah blah. Well, I think that's just another thing they got to like they're they're trying to make a story out of something. I really don't think as much of a story. I think he knows the business. I think Jalen Carter's the type of guy that's letting his agent do the business, and he's going to play football. So
Yeah.
I don't pay too much
And
attention to
and
that. I'll tell you what, and
and
I
the bot go ahead.
I disagree. My biggest concern on this team is not with the safety position, but with the tight end position because they're going to be running the ball a lot more, and you have no blocking tight end. These guys can't block.
Well, I mean, Dallas Goedert and Johnny Munt. I
And
think those are your 2 and we'll
and
be and we'll
Grant Calcaterra.
yeah, well, I'm not even sure he's gonna make the team. I mean, I know they gave him, like, a one-year contract, but I wouldn't be shocked if he's left off the team.
Yeah, I don't know. I just
But we'll see.
I like Dallas Goedert, right? Same reason you like AJ Brown. Like, dude was on a Super Bowl team. I really like the guy. He just, I think it was time to move on. I think they should have done something in the draft or in free agency, but I don't know. It's
I
just a,
think Goddard's gonna have a good year, actually.
listen. I hope I'm wrong. It happens very
Yeah.
rarely,
I
but I
like
hope I'm wrong.
yeah. No, I like jeez. Hey, you're funny, Nick, you're funny. No, but I think when he plays, I think Goddard's really good. And Nick, honestly, man, like, the to me, the biggest move they made this offseason, to me, is Vic Fangio coming back. Like, I can't stress enough, like, Vic Fangio going in to year 3 with a lot of these guys on defense now that he kinda really knows,
Yeah,
and just having that familiarity, just that's kinda like on the offensive side of the ball, we just don't have that familiarity with quarterback and OC, we just don't, and, I mean, hopefully it works out, hopefully Mannion's as good as advertised, but yeah, I think they're gonna run the ball, I think Bigsby is in the he needs to have a big year because he's in the final year of his deal,
yeah.
and then they're gonna run pass off that and, hit a couple shots to Devontae and Lemon and see how this whole thing rolls.
Yeah, I think next week we'll have to get back into our position by position kind of breakdowns of our locker room, right? Like tight ends, wide
Yeah,
receivers. So I don't even know where we left off. So I'll go back in all my notes and see where we were,
yeah,
and we'll get back into that. Um, as far as other Philadelphia sports go, the Phillies are just the Phillies. They're
yep,
just they're a middle of the road team. They're going to make the playoffs. Once they make the playoffs, their pitching problems won't be a problem because you don't pitch five pitchers in the playoffs. You only pitch four. So they can go with four pitchers in the
okay,
playoffs and
correct me if
be
I'm
pretty
wrong,
okay.
and the bottom line is, I mean, they're at least in the NL, like, you're gonna and the division I mean, you're gonna have to get past the Braves, right? Aren't the
Yeah.
Braves kinda like
Yeah. Yeah. You have to get past
yeah,
them. And the Phillies are just that they're a couple of they're at least one roster move away from really making a push for it. They need a right-handed power hitter in the worst damn way, and there's really
yep,
just the one guy out there, and they have to bite the bullet and bet the farm that Mike Trout can give you 2 years, 2 or 3 years,
huh.
and a championship.
Now I'll say pitching wins championships, and Sanchez is a beast.
Ah, he's incredible.
I mean, he's yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I like I was
You gotta feel good about the number 1.
yeah. Well, when I was working right now because there's no work right now, school's out, right? But I'm driving around with the guy, my OR, my retired OR nurse, Tom, on the bus. He had like a package deal of tickets, and he gets like I don't know, 10 games a year, 12 games a year. 4 of the 5 games he went to already were
Yep.
pitched by the worst pitcher on the team at the time. So,
Ugh.
so he had a couple early on. I don't even remember who the guy is they let go. His name is eluding me, but he was awful. It was like, okay, we're losing this game. Like, you might as well have had a bullpen game that game instead of pitching this guy. So he goes all those games, and now he's stuck with all the Andrew Painter games, and he's just not having a
Yeah.
great time. But
Yeah, well, talk about having Painter was really hyped coming up through the system too, and they're
really
still waiting
was.
for it, so,
Yep.
yeah.
And
And it
I'm
might take
not.
it might take time.
Yeah, they
It
bumped
took
him back
Brandon
down.
Graham time. Brandon Graham time.
Tell me about it, man. I always go back to Brandon Grant time. Like it always, like sometimes just takes it be like that sometimes. So
Yeah.
the Phillies are just doing what they're doing. You're not really gonna know where they're headed until the end of August, and then it really starts getting
Yeah,
down
and
to.
they can make that, we'll see. I mean, they can make that big move. They can make that big move at the trade deadline.
I mean, Brian and I were talking about it early this week, just on the phone. Like, it's not my money. I really don't care. Spend it. Go
Yeah,
get him. I don't
yeah.
care.
You
Go
want a
spend 'em.
parade. You want a
And
parade.
I guess Mike Trout is tired of. It seems like he's willing to waive his no trade clause at this point to go to Philadelphia. So it's not like there's a bidding war or anything like that. It's like he's kind of like, all right, I'll go see what you can
Right.
get, or just offload my salary or whatever it is. So we'll see what happens there. But the biggest thing in sports right now, which I know nothing about, is the World Cup. Is the FIFA World Cup
Yeah.
soccer, which is happening all over the United States. And my interest in the World Cup does not lie in the sport of soccer. It doesn't. Where it lies is all these people from Europe and Asia and Africa and South America all coming to the US and realizing when your
They're
government
having a good
doesn't
time.
when your government doesn't really care about you, you get to eat the best food. The best food. So, like,
Well, I mean, these fans coming into for the World Cup, they're having a good time.
yeah, they are.
Um,
Like
they're
the
drinking
Scots
they're
in
drinking a
Boston,
lot of beer.
like Boston's running out of beer because the Scots are
Yes,
in town.
that's yes, yes,
I've
yes,
never
which
met
is hilarious.
I've never met a more pro-America group of people than Scotsmen out drinking. Like
Sounds like
they
your kind of
love
people, but
they love
your kind of
America more
people.
than Americans love America, and it's not even
Yeah,
close.
yeah, yeah. Well, I will say this, I'm not the biggest soccer fan. Now my son plays soccer, so I've definitely got to know it more. But the United States, when they opened up the World Cup, Nick, they opened up with Paraguay. I mean, they couldn't have a better opening game. I mean, I was glued to the TV, and it's just so impressed the way they moved the ball, how quick they looked. They played maybe that first half might have been the best first half they've ever played for United States at any World Cup ever. They looked impressive. The only downside from that first game was their best player Christian Pulisic, who's from Hershey actually. Um, he is he is a good player, and he got hurt. And so, at the time of our recording here, they're gonna take on Australia. I'm sure Jordan Mailata is gonna be watching that game.
Yeah.
They're gonna be taking on Australia maybe about an hour and a half. I don't think he's gonna play. I think they're gonna hold him out because he's, nursing a calf injury, and they're gonna need him, big picture, if they could get to the knockout round. But this is a huge game, for them, Nick. If they win this game against Australia, and they're probably better than Australia, they should win, although, you don't have your best player out there. But if you beat Australia, then you advance to the knockout round. And then
Right.
that's where it gets really interesting for them because for them to take that next step, they have to win a game or two in the knockout round to kind of just take that next step as a soccer country. But they looked very, very good in the first game. I think it really, even the casual soccer fan like myself, obviously my son knows soccer inside and out. He plays it. He loves it. So he was, pointing things out to me as I'm watching the game. But and my son's a really good soccer player, but, yeah, no, they had a great first game, and let's see if they could, beat Australia, and if they beat Australia today, Nick, then, yeah, that could probably solidify them for the knockout round, or they have one more game, I believe, against Turkey, that they could beat, but they looked really, really good, and in the past, when I saw them in the World Cup in the knockout round, 4 years ago, they couldn't score. It looks like, they were struggling so hard to score, and at least after one game, they're passing the ball, they're scoring, they looked real, real good. Now, the favorite is still probably France. They got the best, in my opinion, they got the best player in the world with Mbappe. So he's such a weapon. So again, I don't know if US is gonna win the whole I'm not saying they're gonna win the whole thing, but after one game, I mean, America, whether even if you're just, watching the World Cup to watch it, like,
Yeah.
you have to be interested after seeing what you saw that first game. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of
Well,
people watching against Australia.
I did not watch the first game, but I will be running around the house like a madman, packing stuff up and loading the car up. So maybe I'll
Yeah.
put it on, and we'll see where we
Yeah,
go.
you'll have an eye on it.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens. My favorite World Cup story to date is that last week on Sunday there was a game in Philadelphia,
Mhm.
and these idiot Ecuador fans came and put a jersey on the Rocky statue, which we all saw and we're like, "Ooh, no, don't do that.
Right,
That's a bad idea." And what they
right.
do, they lost, right? So now there are Brazilian fans guarding the statue with signs like, "Do not put a Brazil jersey on this statue. Like, don't do it. It's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
It is cursed. You need to know." And I mean, this curse holds up, man. Like, this is better than any kind of like, this is not like the curse of the Bambino. This is not any of the, this curse is real. If you put your jersey on that statue, you are going to lose.
Well, what's really interesting, you're with the World Cup in general, though, that's kind of fascinating is, obviously, France is gonna be there in the end. I think Argentina with Messi, they're gonna have it might there be there in the end. But then there's a team like Spain who was like a big time favorite going into it, and they drew with, like, the Curaçao, believe it was. Like, so, like,
Yeah.
it's there's this tournament could go a lot of different directions, and I've said this from when the tournament even started. The fact that, I don't expect the US to win the thing, but the fact that it's being played in America is gonna give them an advantage, like, when they're out there on the field and that
Yeah.
sort of thing. So let's see what happens, and, yeah, I mean, hats off or hands off when it comes to the Rocky statue. Come on now.
Yeah. Yeah. Just stay. Matter of fact, don't even go near it. Just leave the thing alone. Okay. It's fine.
Right,
It's a
right.
statue of a make believe person that is written to be from Philadelphia, and it is cursed. And you need to know you got to stay away.
You
Like
don't
you'll
mess with the
never
Rocky
see,
statue.
like it'll never. Here's the sad part, right? It's the Rocky statue will never.
Us Viking fan
Yeah,
us Viking fan. How'd
the
that work out for you?
the Rocky statue will never wear a hometown jersey.
Yeah,
That's the sad part. It can't. I understand why. But it got the 49ers. It got the Vikings. I mean,
yeah,
it gets everybody, and we love when we see it happen. It got the Commanders. When we see it happen, we're
yep.
like, "Oh, hell yeah." Like, I think Philadelphians put the stuff on there just just to just to get that little edge, and it works.
Maybe that's what happened when we played Tampa at the Vet. Maybe Tampa fans didn't mess with the Rocky
I
statue.
don't
I
think
don't
they
know what to
did.
tell you, man.
I don't think
You
they
know?
did. So,
No.
yeah, so, all right, we'll watch some World Cup today.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man, even if you're Nick, whether you love soccer, whether you're a soccer diehard like my son or just a casual fan, like, it's some really good play. It's
Yeah,
it's really good play. It's
uh,
fun to watch.
I'm an uber casual soccer watcher, so
Yeah. Put it
I'll
on.
let you know. I'll let
Put
you
it
know how
on.
it goes. Um, other Philly news. Look, the Flyers are in their off season. There's really nothing going on. The You're not going to get any good Flyers news until way later in the summer. Just like with the Phillies, kind of amping up as you get into the end of August, you start getting preseason stuff with the
Yep.
Flyers. Um, this just in from Brian. What's that say? Oh, the Sixers are losers. Um,
Yep.
he says
Sounds about right.
to fire everyone. All right. Yeah.
Oh, look, they have a new GM, and
Oh,
you know,
this is oh, I'm so mad Brian's not here. So you got to hear this, Gar. So I'm watching the Phillies game the other night. John Kruk
yep,
is on commentary, which if you have not logged in to John Kruk on commentary, you're missing out. For example,
he's
my
fantastic.
my brother Kyle, not allowed on the podcast, he calls me and he goes, "Did you just hear Kruk?" And I go, "No." He goes, "He just said, so if a tomato's a fruit, if I put it in a blender, is it a smoothie?" That's the kind of stuff you're getting from John Kruk. Yeah, yes, technically, John, it is a smoothie, but no, it's not going to taste
Right.
good. So John Kruk is sitting right behind home plate with the rest of the announce team, right? They're all sitting there. They have Cole Hamels, um, star pitcher for the Phillies,
Yeah.
back in their run,
World Series.
World Series '08.
I have a
Yep.
Cole Hamels. I have a Cole Hamels World Series MVP jersey.
That's what I'm talking about. So Cole Hamels is there with Kruk, and then Ruben Amaro's down there. Like their whole team is down there doing the announcing. And then every inning they have somebody else kind of come down to see what's happening. So Luzardo's pitching. It's the fifth inning. He's having his best game. He's pitching his best game. The Sixers' new GM and their head coach Nick Nurse are sitting with John Kruk. They're sitting between John Kruk and McCarthy, Tom McCarthy, and
Uh,
they're
Hey,
talking about
Mac.
Luzardo and they're having a great game. And the Sixers' new GM goes, "Oh man, so he's pitching a no hitter right now, huh?" And John
Oh,
Kruk goes like
no.
this. The next pitch, solo home run.
Oh, you don't do that.
Losers. The Sixers
You
are
don't do
losers.
that.
And this new GM
I
is just another loser. Should have been me.
I will I will say this. I do like the fact now again, I don't know how much say he's gonna have in basketball operations. I hope he has a lot. But look, they cleaned house. We'll see how they do. They do have Jameer Nelson, who is the, St. Joe's superstar, Chester High School. I like the fact that he's in the front office there. So we'll see what happens. But they got such a long way to go, Nick, and you said it, Nick. They're saddled, man. They're saddled by that MB contract right now.
Yeah, they're toasted. They would like I just let him go. He's not
Yeah, we'll see.
producing for you. He's barely staying on the court. He's not being helpful. You just let him go.
Yeah.
Get him out of there.
No, they can't. They
I
can't.
know.
They
Well,
can't
they
move him.
can. They can. They could just say, get out.
No.
No, oh, you're still under
We'll
contract,
see.
but get out.
Yeah. No.
So I don't know. Change the locks on the doors. Don't let any of them in. Get rid of all of them. Play with nobodies for like 3 years.
Hey,
And that,
Nick, here's the bottom line. Nick, if the Knicks could have a championship parade, anything's possible.
oh, Gary.
I'm just saying, anything's possible.
Well, listen, anything's possible because it's not real. Because there's no way the Knicks. I still don't believe the Knicks are the NBA champions. Like, did you
Are
see Wemby guarding? I don't even know who he was guarding, and dude just double dribbled. It was the most blatant double. I don't know anything about basketball, and I know when you're dribbling, you can't stop and hold the ball and then start dribbling again. That's called a double dribble. Okay, everybody listening, that's what that is. Guy does it on national
no.
TV. Nobody calls anything. Traveling all over the place. Basketball's
I,
not real. It's not real. So the fact that the Sixers can't work within a not real industry and win is crazy. Big market team,
no.
big big market star in Embiid, fun character to watch in Maxey to play. The fact that they can't write a good story to get a championship in the not real world of the NBA is bananas to me.
But my whole point being, the Knicks front office was dreaded for years. But what they got was they were able to get a couple good players from the Villanova connection and Jalen Brunson and Bridges, and like you just get a couple good players and coach. You never know. Anything can happen. But yeah, the Sixers have a long way to go. They have a lot of work to do for sure.
Mm. I got a lot of work to do. I got to load this car up.
Yeah. Well, enjoy your vacation.
All right. All right. Everybody, listen, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. And also go to wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Download it, like it, comment. Let us know how we're doing. Tell us what you want to hear and what you don't want to hear, except you, Kyle. I know what you want. Just relax. And thanks for, smash that like button. That's what we need. We got to make this thing happen. Gary, I'll see you next week. Well, will I see you next week? Maybe. We'll put a maybe on next
Maybe.
week. We'll see.
Maybe.
We'll
I
see.
got a family wedding.
You have a family.
So we'll
Okay.
see.
Well, listen, I'm taking the laptop with me down south. I'll have it. If you want to work out a day next week, we'll do that.
We'll talk. We'll talk.
Yeah, we will.
All
All right,
right.
brother. Thank you.